Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to get back onto some car audio, radio type of stuff. Seem to be my best videos, but not really the niche that I thought I would be in, and not the niche I'm going to be going with. But today, in one of my last videos, I installed the CarPodGo that the company sent me. Still here. It's been almost 2 months. So I just got back from a short deployment to Norway, and this thing hasn't moved. Obviously, the vehicle's not been driving, but the CarPodGo hasn't moved. But this weekend, I'm going to drive 10 hours, about 5 hours each way, maybe a little more than 5 hours, to Central Virginia. I've got to drop some stuff off with my daughter in college, and then I'm coming back. So 5 hours out, 5 hours back, and I'm going to take the Hemi Durango. The Hemi Durango is the best long distance vehicle we have. The Jeeps are good. My wife took her Jeep to actually the same place a few weeks ago to drop my daughter off after spring break. But the Jeeps, the fuel mileage on the Jeeps, the height of her Jeep, the big tires, they're fine. They can make a road trip, but and this is a 200,000 mile plus vehicle. But the Hemi is, I would say, a very good engine. This thing, even being an 05, I think it's an 05, it's smooth on the road. The engine has a ton of power. When you set the cruise control to 70 miles an hour, it stays at 70. When you set my Jeep's cruise control to 70 miles an hour, you hit a hill, it drops to 64, comes back up to 73, and then gets back down to 70. This one, 70 all the way. So when somebody's being stupid beside me and they don't know how to drive or maintain their speed, this one tells you that they're the problem, not me. So what I'm going to do, since that thing has an old stereo system, is I'm going to take this CarPodGo out and I'm going to put it in there. Now, if you watched the last video, you would have saw me fumble through, setting it up in my son's 350Z here. And then you would have also seen me fumble through setting it up on the Durango. What the Durango showed me, or what you would have seen in that video, sorry, what it showed you, was basically the dashboard kind of peeling apart. So I've got some screws. I'll show you that in a second. And I got some a drill bit, and I'm actually going to, that's an old vehicle. I'm actually going to, not in this 350Z, but I'm going to mount it on the dashboard. And I'm going to take this CarPodGo and I'm going to put it in there so that I have this for the ride. And then what I'm going to do is record parts of the trip and show you how well this this CarPodGo works. So basically a full road test over 10 hours, 200,000 mile plus, 19-year-old vehicle, and see how this this guy works in the Durango. So let me get this off of here real quick, and then I'll show you where I'm going to put it in. All right, so here's really the setup that I've got. Not much to it. This was the mount that I previously used. You can see, hopefully, the discoloration from parts of this dash just kind of peeled off. I left that suction cup mount on the 350Z. It's really simple. This thing just unscrews. So this ball joint goes in here and it unscrews, and this is just a magnet. So if you had another one of these, you could switch it back, and you could keep it on here and switch it back and forth. It's pretty easy, but I just need this off because I'm gonna drill a couple of holes here, and I'm gonna mount it. I think this is where I'm gonna mount it. In a second I'll put it back up here and see if that's where I like it, but that's the plan. I'll drill a couple of holes. I've just got some very simple screws. I want dark screws so they'd match this. You know, like I said, I think, you know, I don't know if I've mentioned it. I probably have. If I haven't, my plan for this is eventually to rebuild the engine and rebody this thing. Something cool. I don't know what yet. If I could find a cheap enough Jeep, Old Willie's Jeep pickup truck from the 50s or 60s, I think 50s. That would be perfect for this. Don't need an engine. You know, that's why I want it cheap, no engine. The floorboards can be rusted out because they're going to go and be replaced with this anyway. But that's what I would like to do. I think that'd be awesome. Clearly, I'll rebuild the engine on this first. But we'll see if I can ever afford to do that. But let's go ahead and pop this in here. I'll see where it fits the best. And then we'll hook it up. And then we'll be ready for the trip. Just as a reminder, this is a 2005, so this is a 19-year-old vehicle, so I'm not too concerned with a couple of holes in the dashboard. I did think about putting it here, but I think it's just, you know, if and when and who, you know, I do decide that I don't like that I did this, or, you know, this entire dash switches over into whatever vehicle I might eventually put it in, I think the face, this shiny face of the dash, probably harder to cover up. You know, not the end of the world, but I think just up here is a better fit, better place to, better all around for what I'm doing here. So let's, yeah, look at that. Went into something solid. Pretty sure there's nothing under there, so let's go with that. It's going to be fine. So again here, pretty simple. Twist this guy on here. That. Yeah, well, you know, I should probably put it all the way on. That would be a good plan. Put it all the way on there. Tighten it down. So the plug is over here. I took it out, but I will plug it back in. It's just a USB-C. So this USB-C can be put in two different ways. I think I'm going to put it in over the top so it can go down, so it's not coming down and in my way. It's going over and off to the side, like so. So this one's on 88.1. So I want to potentially get this CarPodGo to 88.1. I don't know if it will do that, but that is my goal. All right, quick troubleshooting lesson. Only took me a few seconds to realize what my problem was. There are two USB ports in the back. They're both USB-C. One's power, one's USB. So be sure you actually plug it into power. There's a little lightning bolt. Not a big deal, obviously. It just does nothing in the USB, but here it's working. So now what I need to do is try to get it to 88.1 or 100.1. So 100.1 and 88.1 are, so this unit here, which is simply a Bluetooth unit, head unit. Before I continue, shiny thing, squirrel, call this number if you want. I think it goes nowhere. It's a garbage call, a scam, but it shows you this thing's working. Back to this one. So this actually broadcasts on two frequencies. I don't think in the directions it says it does that, but it goes from 88.1 to 100.1, which is really cool because going down the road, sometimes 88.1 from here to, you know, when you're driving 5 hours, you'll get bleed in over one of the two, and you switch to the other one and you switch back, and it works great. So right now, I'm going to try and bring up settings. Okay, well, I'm pleasantly surprised here. I think, you know, I showed you this one and said that it does two. I'm thinking this must be some type of a default for these things. But at 80.1, what I didn't do is turn up my volume. Now we got some music there, and then when I switch to 100.1, that's what we've got. So we've got both channels are working. I'm not, let me go to my library. Well, let's see if pulling off this cover, I like to leave these on for protection, but I think it's actually quite a thick protector. Oh yeah, much easier. So I go to my playlist. Yeah, here we are. Just go to shuffle, and then I'll pause her here. But as we go out to the CarPodGo, here's my. You can click on FM, and it shows you your audio. But right now, my phone connected to this extremely quickly, and again, as you saw here, the CarPod is working great. The Bluetooth is working great. We'll see how this bounces going down the road. I don't know. We'll have to record that. I think maybe if we can get it against the side or something, or maybe it's going to be pretty steady. So moving the car around, it seems like it's not really bouncing. But for me, in my vision, it's just below. I can see the dash. Well, I can see the hood over this, so I think this is a great spot. It's going to be a great location. I don't want to go to maps because it's going to show you where I live. But when I go to maps, and I'm a Waze fan, so I wonder if... all right, so let's not do Waze. Let's do Domino's, because Domino's. Can I move around? No, I can't move this around. So let's not do that. Let's see, settings, driving, focus, appearance, wallpaper, show album art. Sure. I don't know. I don't know if I can. No, don't need that. I don't know why I have the Australian Grand Prix on my. Typically, you can. No. So I don't know how to drag and drop these. So it looks like I'll have to slide over and hit Waze. But Waze is my favorite. I do use Waze quite a bit. And that's what we're going to use all the way to Virginia. And like I said, I'll probably bring in a little bit of video and show you how it's going, and show you how this CarPodGo works. I'm just looking at this here, and it's saying no battery, but I think that's my phone. So if I plug my phone in, it's plugged in here. Now I'm charging. So yeah, this thing looks like it's going to work great. What I typically do is I just switch my case over from a magnetic case that's part of my wallet to this one, which is kind of magnetic, but not very magnetic. And I used to just rest it here. And in that other leather case folded over, it actually sits up there really well. This case clearly won't sit up there the same. But this gives me a much better vantage point, view, location for it. And I could buy, this is a much larger than a regular double din stereo. So I could try to buy something. I could try to buy, I'm sure there's a kit that makes it fit in here for this size of a radio. But this is a big radio because it's got like a 6-deck CD changer. Actually, that's here, 6-disc CD changer. And then here is the navigation. And this thing has never really worked since I bought it. The navigation kind of sucks on it. And now when you restart this thing, it makes a ding, 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 and this doesn't work. But what it also has is the TV back here, and this TV is all piped through this. And I know they make stereos that can handle that, so that you can continue to use the audio. I don't think the wireless headphones we have even work with this thing anymore. They might. We just haven't used them in years. But this is an amazing solution, as opposed to replacing this stereo. Could I replace it? Yes. I like how this is a little higher in my vision. This would be fine with a big stereo that would fit in there. But maybe in the future, if I do rebody this thing, I'll do that, and I'll get something that that fits this, a big screen, something big, hopefully a screen that's almost as large as the opening. So we've got something cool. Hopefully, another company did reach out to me. I responded back to them. They haven't responded back to me where we could use it's a car, Apple Play box that plugs in to the wired CarPlay, and it gives you the ability to use all of your phone apps, not just the ones that they give you on this. So as you can see here, none of these are, I can do podcasts and audiobooks. I can't watch, YouTube or Netflix. They make kits that allow you to do that. You don't want to do that while you're driving, of course, but having the ability to do that would be interesting. Obviously, this one you can just sit in the back and throw a DVD in. It's not even Bluetooth, but that would be an interesting thing to have something like that built into the dashboard in the future, but probably not cheap. This is $250 or so for one of these. Where I'm sure I can't just buy the $100 or $80 head unit that I've got in the Jeep, because it'll be a little bit different as it fits on here. And if it's recessed because this hole is so big, I won't be able to get the screws in and mount it correctly. So it's going to have to be something different. I don't know what. Maybe that's in the future. But for now, we're going to go with this. We'll get on down the road tomorrow, and we'll see how well this thing performs. So we just finished our 10-hour trip. Actually, we came in last night. So it was more like 12 hours with the stop in the middle. 5 hours out, 5 hours back, a little over 300 some miles each way, close to 400 miles each way. So what I like the most about this CarPodGo, now there are a lot of things I like about it, and one thing that I didn't like so much, but we did overcome that, and I'll show you why here in a minute. First thing I like about this CarPod is that even with this crummy old radio, that, as you can see, and I don't know how close, so I'll get you close here, there is no input. So there's no audio jack to put audio input, and there's no audio inputs anywhere else in this vehicle. So they're not down below, nothing. So this is a 2005, so just didn't have an audio jack back at that time. Now there is a drop-down TV here with these AV jacks, but that's not quite the solution. So you could run the audio jack from the back of this into your stereo and then have an auxiliary running. That would be good, but we don't have that. So I Bluetoothed it. Okay, but the biggest thing is that there's little to no installation time. I mean, as you saw me hook it up in this vehicle, it took me minutes to put the mounting bracket on, even though I did have to screw this one on, and then put the CarPod head unit here and magnet on so that this goes in place. And then you just plug it into the cigarette lighter or your 12-volt socket, and you have power. That's all there is to it. And then, a few minutes of going into the CarPod settings and, going into Bluetooth and pairing it. So that's extremely simple. That's what I like the most. Second, this has a great screen. The majority of the drive there was sunny and bright. I had my sunglasses on. And then as it got dark, it auto darkened, and this thing just was great. So it looked great. The video was sorry, it looked great. It was super clear. I could see it whether it was dark or not. The directions were awesome, as opposed to the stereo that I put in my Jeep, and then also put in the RV over there. That has like the Z-Link. I think it's Z-Link. That what I found is while the Bluetooth stays connected to the stereo, the Z-Link will just drop CarPlay. And sometimes when I get in, it takes a while, if it even connects to CarPlay. Sometimes I have to use a cable to hook it into my phone, and then it'll run that way. But then the cable doesn't charge your phone. So this one was actually quite amazing in the fact that every time I got in the car, even if it was running and I got out, it would just almost immediately, within 10 seconds, I'm on full CarPlay. And I never once lost CarPlay. So this never dropped out. It was CarPlay. It was Waze the whole time, just consistently amazing as far as connectivity. Again, the screen is great. Little to no connectivity. So the problem is, and it's not a problem, this is one downside. So the single downside was that when you click it here and you click on FM and you switch over to FM transmitter, the transmitter inside this CarPodGo is kind of weak. So the transmitter inside the CarPod is not particularly robust. So when we did the first almost half of the trip on FM, and there's a spot right on the border between Virginia and North Carolina, and I couldn't get anything in for quite some time. And even on the trip there, we did have a little bit of static during the entire drive up, which is kind of annoying if you really don't like that. So what I had to do is plug in this other device we've had for a long time. This is just a Bluetooth transmitter. We plugged the Bluetooth transmitter in, and oh man. So with this Bluetooth transmitter, we plugged it back in, Bluetoothed the CarPodGo to this transmitter, which is a much stronger transmitter. Transmits at 88.1 and 100.1. And then that pushed the FM signal into the stereo just fine. And then in that location, I think 88.1 has a NPR or public radio that's really strong, so it bleeds out everything else. You switch it over to 100.1, and then that takes over, and it works great. So this paired to that, Bluetooth to that, this was able to push the really good FM signal, to the vehicle, and it played great. Aside from that, everything else was perfect. Where I mounted it at, this is a great location. Visually, it's really good. It does bounce a little bit going down the road, but it doesn't really annoy me at all. And it seamlessly played between the music, went to the phone, the maps, the messages, everything you'd expect CarPlay to do. This did, and it did it flawlessly, better than any of the other CarPlay devices we have that I've installed in any of our other vehicles. So, highly recommended. It's like $250, but the cost of putting a stereo in here, and the hassle and the time, and the one that I've installed is $100. It's starting to have fade problems in the Jeep a little bit, so I don't know how much longer it'll last. So if I have to buy that twice, it's already almost the cost of this device. So a more simple Bluetooth with this mounted would be all you need, and it's going to save you some good cash. Hopefully when my daughters come home this summer, I'll be able to plug it into the Mini Cooper. That's a 2007. We'll see how that one goes. But for now, this is going to go with me when I'm driving this. This is parked back in the backyard again. It will go into the 350Z, and I'll leave it with my son once he finds out where he's going to go to his next school. He's going to be an aviation mechanic for the Marine Corps. He's going to do hydraulic systems, and once he finds out that, and he can get his car as long as he doesn't go overseas, he'll be able to use this, and he's got a non-CarPlay stereo in his car that we installed, a nice Bluetooth one that doesn't have CarPlay, and this is going to be an amazing companion for that. So, yeah, highly recommend it. It was great. These guys sent this to me. It worked great on this long trip. Like I said, just flawless. So, yeah, this is an awesome device, and other devices similar to this are recommended. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again soon.